Seriously? Welcome to Nuneaton. Hello and welcome to part 2 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have games against two familiar teams, especially the people who, well, one that's familiar to people who've been around on the channel since its inception, and one that's familiar to anyone who's paying attention this week. So we're away against Boston, the team we started at in our first non-league to legend on the channel 2 years ago, back on FM18, and then we're at home to Alfreton, who are the team we've started at on non-league to legend this year on FM18. Those episodes are available 4 PM every day here on the channel, every weekday, not every day. We don't do it daily anymore, Kev. Silly Kev. Right, since you were last with me, things started quite well. 3 wins in a row. That's more than quite well. That's very well. We haven't won for 3 games since then, though. Losing to Brackley and then draws against York and Leamington. Jordan Nicholson and Ashley Chambers. We're very much relying on them. We don't really have much beyond them in our squad. We do still find ourselves in a playoff spot, 6 games into the season, 5 points behind York. So there's still plenty of time to push on for decent finish this year. And to be fair, the media prediction for us this year is 15th place, and the board are just looking for mid-tables. So even if we tumble a little bit further and just finish in the top half, that's going to be an achievement. But I am a little bit worried financially that, I know I'm Kev, I shouldn't be worried financially, but I am a little bit worried financially that if we don't get a couple of quick promotions, we might have some serious problems. We are £750 a week over the wage budget, which to me didn't feel like a big deal. And then I looked at that. Now, I don't really know why that's quite so enormous. How £750 a week doesn't add up to £1 million. So there's more going on than what I've caused, but I certainly haven't helped the situation. What is hold on, some quick maths. This is important. What's £750 a week? I want to know how much of that I'm responsible for. £39,000. So I'll take responsibility for £39,000 of that. But the other £1.2 million we're losing every season, that's not on me. I don't know who's caused that. That needs fixing. I think we need to put the price of the pies up. But we are making a little bit of a change to our team today because Alex Henschel, the lad who you saw on our preview video, was injured. He's now fit. He's going to be making his first appearance of the season this year, and I think he's going to be a very important player for us. I hope he's going to hit the ground running. Playing the 4-2-3-1 that we're going to be playing, that front four was what I had in mind when I was putting that together. So we signed Akers on that side to be our right wing, and we already had Henschel at the club, and our 2 best players are Chambers and Nicholson. So it was a formation really built around those 3 with him added in, and then we've got our solid midfield too. It looks like a team that should be capable of great things in the Conference North, and hopefully we'll prove that today, starting with this game away against Boston. So we've got Linus in goal, a back four of Diona, Heaton, Gio Haig. I mean, he used to play for Posh. Exodus. We're just going to call him Exodus because I don't know how you say his name. I never did when he played for Posh. Gio Hagen. Exodus. And in fact, let's put Exodus on long throws because he's got the highest individual stat at the club. Where is it? He's 19 out of 20 for long throws. That lad can chuck a ball a long way. And then Trotman at right back, El Bekri and Elliott around midfield with the aforementioned front four of Chambers, supported by Henschel, Nicholson and Akers. Right, throw-ins. We won. Oh, I don't want this. I just want my set-piece takers. Set-piece takers. I've already got him on him. Oh, one step ahead of you. We're already going to have Exodus taking the throw-ins because he can launch the ball away. I guess Heaton, there you go, Heaton's got an A-team. So our 2 centre-backs are going to be taking the throw-ins today. I don't see how that can possibly go wrong. Right, let's get into the game. And okay, a couple of players, both Exodus and Henschel, suffering a little bit for fitness. We are playing our second game in 3 days. Exodus came in for Ashton today. Ashton had been our first choice starting centre-back, but hasn't been performing particularly well. So we're giving Exodus a go, mainly because I like his name and I want to capitalise on his long throws. But he's not match fit. Henschel obviously not match fit either, with it being his first game of the season, and he had no pre-season at all. So we need to keep an eye on both of them. I have given in to suggestions down in the comments on both series that are running at the moment, and decided that at this level, having a goalkeeper on the bench is a waste. So we've not got a goalkeeper on the bench today, which means you can guarantee Linus is going to pick up an injury. And we're already 1-0 down after, 8 minutes? I mean, there's still quite a few players in this Boston team that I remember from when I was at Boston 2 years ago, which is surprising, really. You would expect there to be a bit more of a turnover of player at this level, but there's I don't know, 2 or 3 names that I recognise on there, which, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I'd struggle to name 2 or 3 posh players that we've had for 2 seasons, and we're in League One. So, you know, turnover of players, etc. Right, Chambers, what can he muster up? Hopefully, I was hoping for a bit more than that, and Henschel was very, very deep, but Dielna has run beyond him, and Chambers has got himself into a decent position here if he can find a cross, but he cannot, and Dielna is very far forward again. I'm wondering if perhaps having the 2 fullbacks on a wing-back instruction might be a little bit ambitious for the ability of our team. We'll persist with it for today. Oh, what? That was a lovely goal. Who nodded that down? Was that Akers nods that down to Chambers? And it's 1-1, 15 minutes on the clock, and that was our front 3 combining. I think Nicholson. Oh, I thought it was Nicholson out wide to Henschel. It wasn't. Nicholson to Henschel via El Bekri. Henschel crosses to Akers, who nods it down for Chambers. I mean, that's our 5-star men, basically, are all involved in that goal. That's the kind of goal that we want to be scoring. And hopefully we'll build on that. It's Chambers' first goal for 4 games, I think. He started the season very well, hasn't really been with it since then, but he's in again here, and it's straight at the keeper. There was a comment on yesterday's video that Chambers traditionally has played as a winger, which is why he's quick and maybe not as much of a finisher. That might be the case. He's certainly not doing that for Nuneaton in real life, as far as I know. I think he is a striker, and certainly the game is telling me that he's a striker, so I guess maybe at higher levels he was playing as a winger, probably because he can't finish very well. But at this level, we need to persist with him as a striker because he causes no end of trouble, and just hope that he'll start converting his chances, or at least cause enough of a hassle so that the 3 players around him can score goals. Right, because we've got 5 outfield players on the bench, we actually have a left back on the bench. So Mellor can come on for Dielna, who hadn't been having the best of games anyway. It was a change I was tempted to make pre-match, bringing in Mellor at left back, because Mellor hasn't disappointed in the couple of games he's come off the bench, and they've been in midfield. He's been coming on for Elliott as our box-to-box midfielder, but I'm not putting him in there as a starter, but he might be able to do us a job at left back. He can certainly play there. And Chambers is in again and finishes beautifully from range. That's from outside of the area from Ashley Chambers. And just before half time, we go 2-1 up. And perhaps Ashley Chambers just likes to turn it on when you like to hear, because in those games that I've been playing offline in between the 2 episodes, he's been a nuisance, but he hasn't really been a goal threat. Today, he's had a nice little tap in, and now a beauty from range. And, I mean, match-winning performance from Ashley Chambers, hopefully, as long as we can go and win the match. That'd be nice. So, Nicholson and Chambers, both looking calm. And as they should, because they know they're good. They both know they're too good for this league, really. They should be. I mean, Nicholson is going back to posh in League One in January, but Chambers is probably thinking, well, I'm either going to have a good season and we're going to get promoted, or I'm going to have a good season and I'm going to get a transfer. And Henschel, on his first game of the season, that might even be his debut. It is his debut. Alex Henschel, 1 minute into the second half, on his debut, grabs a goal, and it's created by Jordan Nicholson again, because Jordan Nicholson is an absolute hero. What a cross, what a finish. 3-1 now, and we're officially cruising at this point. We can't blow it from here, surely. And Jordan Nicholson, I need a plan B, really, because I mentioned it yesterday. We are building a team around Jordan Nicholson, and we've only got him until December, and he won't agree to come back. Now, there's a chance that certainly in my, I guess it must be in Non-League to Legend, I noticed that he'd been put on the transfer list by Posh, because I was going and having a little look at him just to see how he was, because I'm a bit further in the future on that one. They put him on the transfer list slightly further along in the game, and I'm wondering if he gets put on the transfer list by Posh in this save, will that then be enough to convince him to come on loan for a little bit longer? We certainly can't afford to buy him, but he conceded a goal. But if he's transfer listed, that might just be enough to make him think, well, there's no point me going back to Posh. I may as well do the rest of the season at Nuneaton and review my options in the summer. And if he can then lead us to a promotion, we might be able to bring him in permanently in the summer. That's the plan, but it's not much of a plan, because it does rely on other people doing stuff to help me out. Right, substitution time. And we have got some tired legs out there because having played on Saturday, and we haven't really got much to rotate. I think we need to get Henschel off. We'll bring Beswick on and just leave it there for now. Henschel can't really be expected to play a full game on his first game back. And Beswick, although he keeps describing him as a defensive midfielder, I don't envisage myself ever playing him there. He seems to be perfectly capable of doing a job on the wing. But, I don't know, if we have a look at him, I mean, does that look like a defensive midfielder to you? Whereas if he's a winger, I know I'm not much for stats, but he just seems to match the stats a little bit better for a winger. So, I've decided he's a winger, regardless of what the game tells me he is. Luke Trotman needs to come off because he's not playing very well at all. So let's bring Ashton on for him. Stick Heaton out to right back. I haven't noticed any of these long throws from Exodus today. I guess they're not causing enough hassle for them to make it into a highlight. But I want to see them. I want to see just how long they are. Is there a way to tell the game to always show me throw-ins? Oh, and we have a free kick, and it's crossed in by Mellor, and they've got a break on here, and I hope we've got men back and covering, and we don't. We only have one man back covering. It is Exodus, I think, and luckily Boston have completely wasted it and given us time to get men back, but the move isn't over yet, and we need to get it clear, and the final whistle gets us out of trouble, and we've won the first of today's Other Teams Kev's managed doubleheader, which puts us, does it say 4th or 5th? Back up to 5th. Only 3 points off the top of the league. There's another one of our old clubs there, Gainsborough, just above us. And now we go and play Alfreton. Just one change for the Alfreton game then. Mellor comes in for Diona at left back, who's going to be out for about a month with an injury of some kind. Hold on, what's wrong with him? He's got a groin strain, 3 weeks out. We've got a slight morale, team spirit problem. Brady Hickey, who, if Jordan Nicholson wasn't here, would be our first choice attacking midfielder, and he's good enough to be in the team at 3 stars. He's moaning that he's not getting enough first team opportunities, and it's a fair complaint. I don't know where I put him, because he's nowhere near as good as Jordan Nicholson, not as good as the 2 central midfielders, but when Nicholson goes in January, Hickey needs to be coming into the team. So I hit my dynamic screen up. I asked Kelvin Langmead to have a chat with him as one of our highly influential players, and he went, no thanks, boss. So Hickey has been told, just wait, your time will come. And I hope he waits until January when his time definitely comes. Unless, I mean, I guess what we could have done is all this time while Henschel has been injured, we could have been playing Nicholson on the wing and Hickey in behind, and that probably would have made more sense now I think about it. But I didn't know my squad well enough at the time, so that's going to be my excuse for it. Exodus is still somehow not match fit, despite this being about his 4th game at this point. But we'll keep him in the team because I want to see one of these long throws. If he gets caught out, then John Ashton comes back in. Langmead, our captain and centre-back, and probably would be our first choice centre-back. He's not far from being fully fit again now. He's back in training. So there's going to be quite a lot of competition for places at centre-back in a couple of weeks' time. Certainly before the next episode, we'll have 4 roughly similar quality centre-backs all fighting it out for a place in the team, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It would be nice to have a couple of really exceptional ones. But then I guess what happens when they get injured? So I can live with this. My primary transfer thing is still trying to figure out a way to keep Jordan Nicholson or find an adequate replacement for him. Because certainly if Hickey decides he's in a grumpy, then we have no attacking midfielders. So it means as soon as we get to January, we not only have to somehow find a way to replace Nicholson, we're actually going to have to change the tactic around as well, regardless of how successful it's been at that point, because we won't have an attacking midfield player to replace him. This has been a game of 2 teams cancelling each other out at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, it's certainly not the Alfreton team I would have picked, because they've not signed. I mean, they are playing the 4-4-2. In fact, to be honest, most of it is the team I do pick. It's just they haven't signed the players I've signed. But still, it's doing a good job of cancelling it. I thought this Nuneaton squad was so much better than the Alfreton squad. And the fact that an Alfreton team, without my signings, is able to cancel out pretty much a full strength Nuneaton is a bit of a worry. Chambers hasn't turned up at all. We'll bring Nixon on for him. And Henschel also not having the best of games. So let's make that change. Let's bring Hickey on and put Nicholson out there. And we're going to do a triple. We're going to bring Beswick on in midfield as well. And we're just going to bring 3 substitutes on in the hope that we get a breakthrough. The idea of having Beswick there is just that if Nicholson just doesn't work out on the wing, we can always swap him back into the middle, put Beswick out on the left wing, drop Hickey back into midfield. So there is a little bit of thought that's gone into it. See, Kev's thinking about tactics these days. Craig Westcar, we've seen him do it enough times in the other save, but this time, luckily, he hits the post. That's going to be the only time this year that you see me wanting Craig Westcar to miss a one-on-one. But we just don't. We've not had a shot on target in the whole game. In fact, between the two teams, there's been 1 shot on target. Go on, stick it in the top corner. No, doesn't even beat the wall. That is one of the most pathetic performances a team of mine have ever put in. And those of you who've been around for a while will know there's been some pathetic performances. I'm not... I don't know. I'm moaning. 8 games in, we're 4th in the league. Massively above expectation. 4 points off the top. I just still feel like we could be doing a little bit better. And that maybe we're a couple of tactical tweaks away from something really, really good. Because bottom line, we've only won 1 game in 5. Which is a problem. Shows how poor the division is that we can win 1 game in 5 and still be 4 points off the top. Means it's winnable, which we're not going to do unless we sort this tactic out. Anyway, enough of that. Reminder, because of the schedule, the release schedule for this series, your next episode in Backing the Boro will now be on Saturday at 4 p.m. So this series is releasing Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and then Saturday and Sunday 4 p.m. So got a couple of days of break from Backing the Boro now, so use that time to go and check out Non-League to Legend if you haven't already. Or there's going to be the first round of the Creators Cup, me playing against Dr. Benji, plus a Football Manager mobile save is going to be starting anytime soon because you lot have made me. So there's plenty of other stuff to keep you occupied until Saturday, and of course the streams as well. You wouldn't want to miss a stream. That's here in this slot tomorrow. If you've enjoyed today's video, please make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up for me. I don't know what that was, but that might become a thing. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.